STV, votre télé.
The management account by municipal councils and public establishment for the year 2016 has been presented to the Finance and Budget Committee of the National Assembly today by members of the audit bench of the Supreme Court, with a sharp decline recorded. Plus, customs administrators and economic stakeholders have resolved to ameliorate delays at the Douala Autonomous Port after evaluating quarterly performance of contract. How do they intend to execute their plan of action? Find out in this newscast. Good evening to you all, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks for joining me, Henry Wana, at the anchor in Douala. Customs administrators and economic stakeholders have assembled in Douala today to evaluate quarterly performance of contract, which is aimed at ameliorating delays at the Douala Autonomous Port. Veronica Aje reports.
11 days is the time an importer in Cameroon has to wait for his goods to arrive, and 8 days is the estimated time for a product to leave Cameroon by sea. A rather long and tiring wait, as just 4 days is needed for export and 5 for import within the African sub-region. To the Douala port officials, this delay could be blamed on the fact that all those that deal in the seaport are not in conformity with contract terms.
The problem is that despite the fact that we've come forth with a technical platform that will enable stakeholders anticipate on their operations, they still wait for the arrival of the goods before they start the procedure. Because what should happen is that people should anticipate, importers should anticipate. When the manifest is already in the system and the manifest in the system before the arrival of the goods, they should start the declaration process. And so if we don't anticipate, we'll continue to have these problems of delays. And of course, we are asking on all the other stakeholders, because the problem is very limited at the level of the Customs Department. We're asking the other stakeholders to automate their procedures so that it can be possible for operations to be carried out rather than leaving their offices and coming to the ports or to the banks. And we're also asking our stakeholders to benefit from the e-payment platform that has been put in place, so that they should be able to, they should permit importers and exporters to pay for services at their level.
Of 25 operators having concordats, only 16 have so far respected and executed contract objectives. The cost of crossing of goods in Cameroon in terms of import and export greatly overshadows that of some other African countries. $1,407 versus $686 in the African sub-region, making a total of $773,000 to import in Cameroon, and $983 against $592, amounting to over 540,000 CFA to export in Cameroon. As a means to reduce costs, boost competitiveness of the Douala seaport, and ameliorate delays.
In order to ameliorate the conditions, I think the issue should be tackled by the Customs Administration and all the stakeholders. We have received now the result of the time release study, which indicates that the Customs Administration and the stakeholders are happy to work together in order to improve the quality of the performance and the services provided to the customers in the port of Douala.
Cameroon has been placed at the 186th position out of 190 economies in Africa by the Doing Business magazine, this due to delays registered at the seaport. All these were reviewed during a double ceremony for the restitution of results of studies on hand-raised time and quarterly evaluation of performance contracts in the Douala Autonomous Port.
Transport Minister Jean-Ernest Masena Ngale-Bibehe has ended his 3-day contact tour to dissolved services in Douala today. Among other areas visited today was the Douala Autonomous Port. Peter Sose was part and parcel of the minister's delegation, and now reports.
At the Douala Autonomous Port, Jean-Ernest Masena Ngale-Bibehe was briefed on the daily activities of the port, which remains the gateway into the Semak sub-region. Efforts so far to upgrade the port to modern standards include the demolition and reconstruction of some warehouses, construction of a lorry park from the port, rehabilitation of the fishing market, and installation of radars. The Minister of Transport on his part has promised government's contribution to ongoing efforts and urged management of the facility to fast-track reforms that will improve its competitivity. The minister took time off to visit the lumber yard at the Wood Terminal, managed by SLPBC, where he met a plethora of problems. They include delay in operations caused by the rainy season, congestion due to limited parking space, and the absence of modern infrastructure to carry out activities. Jean-Ernest Masena Ngale-Bibehe was also met with dredging complications, which negatively affects the anchor of sea vessels. The minister ended his tour with stopovers at Sokatu and Kamrai.
Back to one of our lead stories, the audit bench of the Supreme Court has presented its 2016 report to the Finance and Budget Committee of the National Assembly today in Yaoundé. The report shows a sharp decline in the production of management accounts by municipal councils and public establishments. Peter Sose once more.
Appreciating the production of management accounts for the 2016 fiscal year, members of the audit bench of the Supreme Court have lauded with satisfaction the constant production of principal treasury accounts. However, the accounts of municipal councils and public enterprises are on a fast decline. Presenting the 2016 report to the Finance and Budget Committee of the National Assembly in Yaoundé Friday, it was revealed only 374 management accounts have so far been produced by main accountants out of 4,471 since 2004. The reason for the timid execution centers on multiple conflicts between mayors who are authorizing officers and treasurers on one hand, and between supervisory authorities and councils on the other. Also, administrative accounts published by mayors are not released on time to enable accountants' work on the management accounts. Stakeholders have also revealed that some of the treasurers lack adequate skills to concretely produce these accounts. Despite challenges, actors have come out with solutions to meet set goals.
La gestion qui a été faite, c'est que de veiller
One of the solutions is to draw the attention of financial and technical supervisory authorities on the management of public establishments and municipalities.
Sur la gestion de ces établissements publics et de ces collectivités territoriales.
For members of the Finance and Budget Committee of the National Assembly, the exercise is of urgent importance. As parliamentarians, it enables us to question the government and know better what it is doing. The audit bench of the Supreme Court has used the occasion to decry the steady drop of its budget, which now stands at barely 500 million CFA from 1.3 billion in 2010. In response, the President of the Finance and Budget Committee has promised the support of his team in lobbying for more resources to be allocated to the bench. Friday's conclave comes 48 hours after a similar exercise at the Senate.
The President of the Cameroon Bar Association and that of the Bar General Assembly have for the third time failed to appear before the Mesam High Court to answer charges levied against them by their peers on their continuous stay in power without justified reasons, given that their mandate is ended. Lovembe has been tracking that story for us and our report.
The presidents of the Cameroon Bar Association, Batoniani Kamga, and the presidents of the Bar General Assembly, Barrister Nico Hale, have failed to appear in the High Court of Mesam before a panel of judges led by Justice Mbaki Vivian for the third time in the hearing of a case filed against them by a group of lawyers from the Northwest region led by Barrister Acha Collins. In the case, this group of lawyers questions the mandates of the two presidents who are still holding on to office.
The President of the General Assembly and the President of the Bar Council, they have decided to be seat-tighting. You know, the law says they are elected for a mandate of 2 years, renewable ones, but this is already more than the third year, and from every indication, they want to be there for 4 years. And when they are there for 4 years and they seek another mandate of 2 years and do another 4 years, that will be 8 years, and that will be a very bad precedent at the bar. We will not want to be the one seen to be flouting the laws, because if the mandate is 2 years, let it be 2 years. There is no reason why they should be holding on to office after 2 years.
With the political climate of the country, is it convenient to convene a General Assembly of the Bar Council?
No reason why we cannot convene a General Assembly. They themselves at the level of the Bar Council, they have been organizing training seminars in Yaoundé and in Douala. So there is nothing wrong in holding a General Assembly of the Cameroon Bar Association.
What would be the court's reaction towards the two accused who have failed to appear in court for the third time?
For them not to be able to grace the court with their presence, it doesn't speak well of them and it doesn't speak well of the bar, because they should be the ones to respect the court and be able to come to court, and if they are not able to come to court, they should excuse their absence.
Barrister Ngalange, lawyer for the defender, has a contrary view.
General rules and regulations of the bar and the 1919 law organizing practice at the bar has given the options that are supposed to be taken when the General Assembly is not ordinarily convened.
The case has been adjourned to the 2nd of August.
We stay in that part of the Republic whereby artists have been decrying the deplorable state of their working conditions. They were expressing their frustration yesterday on the occasion of the World Music Day. Once more, Lobembe.
Artists in the Northwest region have been advised not to rely on the government for development, but rather to be united and stand up against piracy, which is their common enemy. The call was made by the president of the Association of Northwest Musicians during a concert organized by the artists to observe World Music Day. With the present socio-political instability in the country, the artists say they stand for peace.
The message I have for artists today is a message of peace and unity. Artists are ambassadors of peace. We are for peace. We want peace.
The event was also an opportunity for the artists to decry the poor living conditions of most artists in the region as a result of their numerous challenges.
Good promoters, we don't have studios, we don't have good studio engineers, and we don't have good, exposure like promotions on TV and radio.
Cultural centers, we don't have places where we can play our songs, apart from going to cabarets which are owned by private people. You know, the government has to provide places where the young people can learn how to play instruments, learn theory about music, and grow up, because, you know, culture is the backbone of every society.
Talk with the music sector, we need a lot of funding. A lot, because we need, for example, I am still on the audio level. I need money for the video, which I don't have. Yeah, and the fact that when you dressed funny, they call you names. Yeah, those are the challenges.
Despite these challenges, the artists still believe music from the Northwest region is unique.
Like they say, Cameroon has more than 250 tribes. The Northwest has a diversity of those tribes. And I can tell you that the Northwest, the rhythms we have can englobe African rhythms in general. So that makes us different. When you play something from Congo, it looks like what we have here. You play from Sierra Leone, from other places, we have that stuff here. So that gives us that uniqueness.
They have therefore been challenged to take advantage of the rich cultural heritage of the Northwest region. The concert featured a number of artists who drilled the crowd with their outstanding performance.
In our feature page tonight, our case study is the trend of selfies. With the advent of smartphones these days, no one is left indifferent in taking pictures, an act which has led to a dramatic twist on selfies taken especially amongst youth. John Paul Sama reports.
These days, everyone is taking selfies. Be you a president, first lady, or local wannabe celebrity, selfies are everywhere. The word selfie originated from a simple concept that people around the world seem to be fascinated by: holding your smartphone at arm's length and pointing the camera at yourself. With the rapid expansion of the social media, there has been the creation of so many outlets where people have been opportune to upload their selfies online. The trend ongoing may be socially acceptable, but so many people around the world have lost their lives trying to take selfies on the edge of a cliff, while driving, on a bridge, and so much more, all in a bid to gain popularity on social media. It is reported that 15 selfie takers died in 2014, 39 in 2015, and 73 died in the first 8 months of 2016. In 2013, the word selfie had become commonplace enough to be monitored for inclusion in the online version of the Oxford English Dictionary, and in November, it was announced as the word of the year. The fascinating idea of a selfie is that anyone who has a smartphone has the power to take a selfie, but the younger generation seems to be especially involved in this trend because they tend to be the heavier users of digital technology than their older counterparts. With the advent of selfies, related words linked to different positions have emerged, like finger mounting, peace sign selfies, and many more. However, selfies have come to revolutionize how we gather autobiographical information about ourselves and our friends, and helps people create a memory bank which they can refer to in future. Selfies has its pros and cons. After all, we all are individuals, and habits affects us differently.
Let's now get news out of Cameroon with the VOA.
Melania Trump made an unannounced visit to the Upbring New Hope Children's Center in McAllen, Texas, that houses more than 50 children. Video footage shows the First Lady touring the facility and talking with the staff, but not her meeting with the children.
I want to thank you for your hard work, your compassion.
Back in Washington, a congressman from Texas criticized the visit.
The president is dispatching his wife, a mother herself, to the Texas border. I just happen to feel that the kids that are tied up in those cages, they don't want to see a mother, they want to see their mother.
Soon after the visit, news media published photos of the First Lady boarding a plane for Texas, dressed in a jacket that had the words, "I really don't care, do you?" written in huge white letters on the back. Meanwhile, a group of mayors from across the United States visited another border facility in Texas to see firsthand how the immigrants are treated. New York Mayor Bill de Blasio was among them.
The president retreated today has not solved the problem. We're all saying that. Zero tolerance still exists. That's breaking an American tradition of respecting people fleeing oppression. The families are not reunified. We don't know when they'll be. We're going to fight for that.
President Trump said he had signed the executive order so the families can be reunited.
We don't want to have children separated from their parents.
The administration insists that immigrants must follow a legal procedure to enter the United States. Analysts say many of those people are eligible for asylum in the United States, but the application process is too slow for those who fear for their lives at home.
So you have to address the issue of people trying to come the right way and make it easy for them to do so, and that would ultimately fix the problem.
Rights advocates say that under Trump's zero-tolerance policy, asylum seekers are being turned away at ports of entry, and that is what is driving many of them to cross the border illegally. Zlatica Hoke, VOA News, Washington.
And now sport. To wrap up this newscast, the General Assembly of Cameroon Football Federation FECAFOOT, initially planned to hold this Saturday, June 23, has been temporarily suspended by FIFA. According to the World Football Governing Body, Article 14 of the law governing sports in Cameroon is still pending modification by the Parliament. John Posama report.
This decision, which was made public by the Cameroon Football Federation FECAFOOT, through its Secretary General, revealed that the General Assembly of the Federation, built for this Saturday, June 23rd, dedicated to adopt the text governing the structure before elections begins in various regions, has been postponed to a later date, which will be communicated to the members of the Extraordinary General Assembly when it is set. This decision from the World Football's governing body FIFA to halt the proceedings leading to the elections is based on the fact that they expect the National Assembly of Cameroon, currently ongoing, to modify the 2011 law governing sport in Cameroon, which has provided the grounds for conflict in the past with Article 44 of the law stating that each sports federation is charged with solving its sporting disputes according to its rules and regulations, and a dissatisfied party has the right to take it to the National Olympic and Sports Committee, which has led to some conflict. This comes at a time when the Normalization Committee at its second mandate had already fixed the program for various elections to be held into the federation.
In more sport news, matches counting for 27 in the MTN Elite One Championship have been programmed in stadiums across the national territory this Sunday, June 24. And one of those big games to watch out for is the match between Unisport of Garwa against Babutus of Buda, UMS of Flum against Unisport of the Bafang. Preview, John Paul Sama.
Match day 27 in the MTN Elite One Championship this Sunday will see a tough clash between league leaders Cotton Sport of Garwa to Bambutus Football Club of Boda. Two sides huge pedigrees in the league. Since 2005, these two sides have met 15 times in the league, with the Cottonkers registering 8 wins to the Mangwabusis 2, and they have both taken equal points on 5 of the 15 occasions. This Sunday's duel looks to be watering. Second place, UMS of Loom welcomes the challenge of Unisport of Bang, an encounter which is almost balanced as these two rivals have 2 draws in their last 9 meetings, but UMS of Loom, 2016 champions, hold better 4 wins to their rivalry since they were promoted to the league in 2014. Young Sport Academy of Bamenda will have to summon lots of football they called upon in Bamenda during their last leg win against Fufu to come see them through the second leg, which they go into having the edge over their host, with 4 wins as against 2 and 4 draws have separated these two teams since 2009. Separated by 5 places and 3 points, both New Stars Football Club of Douala and AS Fortuna will be looking to climb up the table with a win and outsmart one another when they lock horns this Sunday. Apeche Food takes on Colombe du Sud, while Eding Sport of the Leke looks to dominate Future Football Club of Jika Banjul. And Union Sportif of Douala plays away to Yafut, a fixture which ended 3-1 in favor of the visitors during the first leg. Astro Football Club of Douala, who have beaten Star Renard of Melong just once in their last 3 meetings, will be seeking to add more points to their 30 gathered so far, but will have to upset their hosts. And the bottom of the table clash between 14th to 17th takes center stage this Sunday when Dragon of Yaoundé plays host to Aigle Royal of the Minoa on March the 27th.
That report by John Paul Sama brings us to the end of today's English Primetime Newscast on Spectrum Television. It has been wonderful being here throughout this week. Next week, Veronica Ajay takes over from me. I shall see you again in our 4th night. Have a splendid weekend in the company of our programs. Good night.
STV, votre télé.